Welcome back to The Explainer. If you're a first-year political science student trying to build that absolutely rock-solid academic base, you are exactly where you need to be. Today, we're tackling what is honestly the single most important foundational topic you are going to master this year, the anatomy of a state. We're going to literally look under the hood of global politics and figure out exactly what makes a country tick. Okay, let's dive into this. I want to challenge how you probably use the word state in your everyday life. Casually we might think of places like Texas or New York. But on the global stage, a state with a capital S means something totally different. We're not talking about a province or a local territory. We're talking about an independent, sovereign actor on the world map. Think France, Japan, Brazil. So what actually transforms just a random patch of land into one of these massive global entities?
Well, the strict academic definition is super specific. A state is a politically organized community living within a definite territory, possessing a government, enjoying sovereignty, and recognized by other states. I want you to let that sink in for a second. The state isn't just some boring bureaucracy, it is the absolute highest form of political organization humanity has ever come up with. It bears the ultimate, heavy responsibility for maintaining law, order, security, and the welfare of its people. The modern world literally doesn't function without it.
And this brilliantly illustrates our complete visual roadmap. Think of a state exactly like a highly complex machine that's built piece by piece. If you pull out even one of these essential pillars, the whole mechanism just grinds to a halt. It literally ceases to be a state. So we're going to deconstruct this machine so you understand exactly how it's built from the ground up. Here's the mental map for your notes today. We'll start by defining the modern state. Then look at people and place. The engine, which is government, the supreme authority of sovereignty, global acceptance through international recognition, and finally, we'll put it all together. Section 1, defining the modern state. Because without a strict formula, a group of people is really just a crowd, right? It's definitely not a state. Let's move to and see how this builds with Section 2, people and place. These are the two absolute physical prerequisites of our anatomy checklist. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it contrasts the human element with the physical environment. First up, you need a permanent population. You can't just have a state made up entirely of wandering tourists or passing nomads. But the size of that population, that can vary wildly, from tiny spots like Monaco all the way to a massive country like India. Then you pair that with territory. And this isn't just dirt on the ground. It's a strictly defined multidimensional geographical area. It's got recognized boundaries covering the land, the water inside those borders, and, this is crucial, the airspace directly above it. Moving on to Section 3, the engine, which is government. This is the actual administrative machinery that keeps the state alive and functioning. Because look, once you have that permanent group of people living in that defined three-dimensional space, you gotta organize them. A population simply cannot operate as a unified entity without this administrative engine doing four massive jobs. The government makes the laws that tell us how to interact. It maintains order so chaos doesn't just totally take over. It physically protects citizens from internal and external threats, and it provides those vital public services like roads, schools, and hospitals that actually make society livable. It's the working muscle of the state. Next up is Section 4, supreme authority or sovereignty. And this is the ultimate power source. Because just having a government, honestly, that is not enough. I want you to really underline this exact term in your mental notes. Sovereignty is the supreme authority of the state. This is where a lot of first-year students get tripped up. A local city has a government, right? A colony has a government. But to be a true state, you need that supreme authority. Supreme literally means there is nobody higher up the chain of command. The buck stops entirely with the state. This is the magic ingredient that truly separates a global state from just some lesser political unit. So the crucial point is that sovereignty actually faces two totally different directions. First, you have internal sovereignty. This means the state has absolute, supreme power over all the people and institutions inside its borders. No domestic corporation or local group can overrule it. Second is external sovereignty. This means the state is completely independent and completely free from the control of other states. Nobody outside the borders gets to boss it around. You absolutely need both, internal dominance and external independence. Which brings us to Section 5, global acceptance, or international recognition. This is the pillar that validates everything we've just built and brings the state onto the complex global stage.
Historically, those first four pillars were enough. But in our hyper-connected modern world, we need this fifth element to really make it work. Even if you claim sovereignty, if nobody else on Earth agrees with you, you're going to have a really hard time functioning. International recognition means other sovereign states formally accept you into the club. And this acceptance is a total game changer. It unlocks diplomatic relations, allows you to sign binding treaties, and lets you join powerful international organizations like the United Nations. It legally and politically cements your status.
All right, Section 6, putting it all together. Let's gather your focus here as we prepare to summarize this entire anatomy for your final exam prep.
I want you to map this in your head as a clear two-step process. Step 1 is checking off the historical foundation, the 4 traditional elements. You need a permanent population, a defined territory, a functioning government, and absolute sovereignty. Check those 4 boxes and you've got the historical base. But step 2 is the modern requirement, international recognition. You need that global acceptance to actually cross the finish line in today's world.
To really cement why that 5th element was officially added to your political science checklist, listen to this exact quote from our source material. While the first 4 are the traditional essential elements, international recognition is widely regarded as an important factor for a state's effective participation in global affairs. That right there is the whole shebang. You simply cannot be a hermit state and thrive in today's globalized world. So, now that you know the exact anatomy of a state, here is a provocative thought to leave you with. What happens when 2 entities living on the exact same territory both claim supreme internal sovereignty? How does the international community even decide who gets recognized? Think deeply about that as you continue your studies. And hey, if you want to master complex questions like that and keep building an unbreakable political science foundation, MEGHA Education is your absolutely essential first-year study resource. They have everything you need to dominate this subject. Thank you so much for joining me today on The Explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.